Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 State of Apollo Crypto. We are thrilled to welcome both newcomers wanting to learn more about our project, as well as our loyal Apollo community that has supported us throughout the project's first year. This project wouldn't be possible without you all. So first, I'd like to introduce myself and two of my colleagues that are here with me today. Say hi, guys. Hello. I'm Matt Johnson. I'm the founder of Apollo Crypto, and I started Apollo with the belief that decentralization was going to change every part of our world. And I wanted to help define exactly what that meant. I've been fortunate enough to have a successful 30-year career in software and game development. I've worked with brands like WWE, Nike, NASCAR, and Jim Beam. And now I'm bringing my expertise to blockchain to help build dApps and systems to take full advantage of Web3.
Let's do that again. Howdy, I'm Caleb, Creative Director at Apollo Crypto. I started with crypto because of the core Web3 principles of ownership, transparency, and privacy. I've worked as a UX and UI designer professionally for 12 years now. My passion is fantastic web experiences, and I've had the honor to work with really cool clients like Dude Perfect, Bell Helicopter, The Doors, and the Mad Men TV show.
Thanks, Caleb. Everyone, I'm Zach, or you may have seen me on Discord or Telegram as Apollo Ted. I'm the head of production for the Apollo Crypto project. I got into Web3 because I wanted to change the world, and I believe Web3 is doing that, through decentralization and transparency. I've been in software engineering since I got to college about 10 years ago. I've been part of everything from enterprise software for large international banks to mobile apps built for famous content creators. So now I'm bringing that broad background now to the world of Web3 to build things no one's built before.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. And thanks for being here. So before we dive into the core content of this presentation, just a few housekeeping items. So most important is the format of this presentation. To maximize time, it's not like our standard AMA, so we're not going to do questions at the end. But over the next couple of weeks, we'll be discussing all this information presented here in more depth on various project supporter channels, AMAs, and things like that. So if you have questions after the presentation, please email us at dev@apollocrypto.org so we can review and potentially answer some of these in the upcoming AMAs. But of course, you could always join our Telegram, our Discord, any of our other channels, social channels that we have out there, and ask questions. The devs are in there frequently, and we got a lot of great community members that are happy to answer questions for you if you're new to the project. On that note, our first post-keynote AMA will be tomorrow, Friday, at 12 Central on Henoch's YouTube and Twitter channels. So definitely check into there. That'll be the first opportunity to ask a lot of questions and digest what we've seen here today and really kind of get this sense of absorbing where our direction lies for 2023. All right. So what will we cover today? We're big believers in looking back so you can move forward. Things move fast in this world, and as we all know, it's 100x faster in the crypto space. That means it's even more important to assess where you've been, what you've learned, and what information guides you to innovate on what's next. Our teams have spent the last several weeks doing just that. Dozens of strategy meetings, discussions with partners and holders, reviewing industry opportunities, and then deciding how we want to evolve while still honoring our mission and values. We will touch on the highlights of that today, but there's also plenty to dive deeper on in the coming months as we implement these ideas. So let's get started. So we have always been good believers in figuring out what you stand for before you build anything. When reflecting on this important business strategy, I am reminded of a great quote by Alexander Hamilton. Those who stand for nothing fall for everything. There are certainly some traps in the crypto space, so let's talk about how we are different and what we are made of as a team. Every great project needs purpose and structure that defines it. We have learned this over the past 30 years developing technology innovations for some of the world's top brands. Let's step through some of the principles that Apollo project was built on. The foundation always starts with great people, and in the case of Apollo, also great technology. We do everything we do for people, whether they are part of the team, the community, or creators. Pushing the bounds of innovation is a requirement in this space. The sands are constantly shifting and opportunities arise daily. It's about picking the right directions and sticking with them to delivery, then learning and iterating as you evolve with the market. When people compete, they have to know that it's a fair playing field. The fundamental underpinning of DeFi was built upon this. Apollo subscribes to that pillar of truth, and it's provided tools to ensure competitive fairness in everything that we have done to date. Our team docs when the project started. The token was audited at the beginning. We worked publicly via Trello, and every contest vote was auditable in real time through IPFS. The DAO system managed voting rules and all the distributions to the winner. This is a very important area for us and in this space to be transparent with everything that we do to our holders. We also believe that everything we need to do has to be constantly fun. That's why we chose contests. Voting was the first step there. Empowering creators was an exhilarating first step for us, but the world demands constant engagement, so we must step up our game to meet the demand moving forward. And finally, there's competition, which covers all of our core pillars. This is what drives us and keeps us learning new things. The world would be a boring place without competition. We are competitive people by nature. We know many of you are as well. We are committed to covering everything we do in competition. Now that we're aligned on our core principles, let's take a quick look back and see how we executed on them in 2022. As I mentioned at the start, it's important in any project to reflect on how you arrived where you are today. This starts with reviewing the milestones reached and the project by the numbers. When I attack a project, I want to go straight to the summit. But while my heart already might be at the summit, the reality is my feet are still down in the valley. You can't go straight for the summit. That's how you fail. Instead, you go for the next base camp. It may not be as exciting to talk about, and frankly, base camps aren't all that sexy looking, but they have a great view and they are how you get to the top. If you don't base camp, you will never get to the top. It's that simple. You may not have realized it, but we're base camping all along. Let me show you what I mean. The three major base camps of 2022 were token, community, and contest. Each one was necessary for the next to be possible. Their existence in order was by design, and it's how we have systematically moved from the valley floor to where we are today. And it is this strategy that will take us all the way to the top, period. There are a lot of activities, challenges, and accomplishments baked into making each of these base camps. Far too many to discuss today, but I'd like to go through a few things that made each base camp possible. First is the token. Aligning with our pillars, we designed the token to be transparent, fair, and benefit both holders and the DAO. This includes no contract variables other than the DAO contract address, locking the liquidity on launch, and providing automatic reflections back to holders with the built-in tokenomics. We also added a deflationary component that takes 2% of each transaction and sends it to a burn wallet, essentially always reducing our supply. We burned half the supply out of the gate, and to date, a little over 55% of the total supply has been burned. We have also partnered along the way with 3 exchanges to expand the reach of the token and give access to the token to those who felt more comfortable on centralized exchanges. And we also listened to community feedback and optimized the brand to reestablish our mark and our position for what we stood for in the industry. Next is the community. We built our community on 4 major platforms. Several community members have stepped up to support the moderation efforts as we seek to educate and support new and potential holders. We are focusing on Discord as our platform for the future and have seen some great growth there over the past year. We have launched paid missions for community members to help spread the word on social platforms and develop content and value for the protocol. We designed the Apollo Army to give priority information points out via Discord and our website. Dedicated community members like Noah, Justin, Cody, and Corey have been instrumental in helping maintain project information, updates, and security beyond what the core dev team can provide. Finally, the contest. Most important was the launch of our first utility offering, the Apollo Creator Contest platform. The platform was optimized over 2 seasons as we tweaked the overall design, security, community reporting tools, transparency, revenue generating opportunities, free voting mechanisms, and so much more. We concluded these optimizations with Season 2's All-Stars and the wildly successful Sneaker Design Contest sponsored by Center, which yielded over 4,000 user engagements and hundreds of thousands of marketing impressions. We rounded out the first year exploring a number of NFT community partnerships. We found that these Web3 NFT communities had members who got what we were aiming for immediately and had existing experience in crypto, which made onboarding into DeFi a breeze. So while you may not have realized it, we have already reached Basecamp 3 and we're ready to move on from here. There's so much more we could go into, and we'll touch on these more over the next several weeks in various social posts and AMAs. But next, let's review some of the data and analytics from 2022. Here are a few bits of analytical data from the past year plus. For far too many interesting points to share in one presentation, so we will be dripping these out across social media over the coming weeks. A few highlights though today. We've completed over 500 development tickets. This is between both our Jira internal engineering system and our public Trello board, which many of you have seen. That's quite a few tasks that have been accomplished in the short course of a year. We've promoted 75 creators in contests in 15 unique creative genres. We've given away over $250,000 in prizes to creators, holders, and supporters of the protocol. We have reflected over 165 billion tokens back to holders' pockets and burned approximately 55% of the total supply. We have also seen significant renewed interest in buy pressure over the last month, more buys in the last 30 days than the previous 4 months combined. These great numbers didn't just materialize by themselves. It took a great core team and partners in 2022 pushing us forward on every front. So let's take a look at a few. Partnerships with key individuals and firms over 2022 was transformative. They're the teams that coded the smart contracts, the individuals who designed and redesigned all the brand and creative, the website designers, the application site developers, the marketing partners that helped build up our social presence and messaging, and outside influencers like Enoch that brought the Center opportunity and sponsorship to our doorstep. This is decentralization at its finest. All types of backgrounds and skill sets, blazing new trails and improving every aspect of the project moving forward. This won't stop either. There will be new partners, and as the crypto ecosystem starts to pick up again, many of the conversations we were having with exchanges will undoubtedly reignite. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Rounding out 2022, let's talk about what we learned. Journeys never go exactly how you expect. You run into obstacles along the way and must adapt. The success of an organization is defined by how quickly it can learn and adapt. So I would like to talk about a few things that we learned along the way that we didn't originally see coming. Without a doubt, one of the biggest challenges we faced was in the area of onboarding people not familiar with crypto or DeFi. We all remember what our first time in the cryptoverse was like, right? Confusing and scary. We assumed that creators and their fans would adapt quickly. That was more of a challenge than we thought. We produced good step-by-step training videos, but in this world of UX simplicity, we didn't get all the way there. Crypto and digital natives struggled less and really helped us drive forward further into the space. The second big learning would be that we needed more consistent engagement with holders. Sure, they can cast votes for creators, but how can they participate and promote on a regular basis? Our social communities did a good job of this, of course, but we feel more engagement should be a core part of the utility. Yes, a lot was accomplished last year, much more than most independent projects, but it's nothing compared to what is in store for 2023. You've heard me use the Amazon analogy before, where Jeff Bezos famously launched Amazon and initially only sold books. But it was enough for them to prove out all their assumptions and build a platform that became the world's store for everything. Our books phase was 2022. Now we have proven out our assumptions, and we have the platform we need to go to the next level. With that, I'm excited to share a sneak peek into Apollo Crypto 2023. Where are we going next, and what does 2023 have in store for all of us? Before we begin, I'm reminded of a great quote by Dr. Martin Luther King. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. And that is exactly how we approach growing Apollo. So today I'll be sharing high-level details and some specifics, but obviously we can't go into everything. That will unfold over the coming months as we continue to reach different base camps throughout the year. But first, I want to set the theme for Apollo Crypto's future. You may have guessed it, that theme is games. Before we dig in, let's start with a simple question though. Why games? Simon Sinek teaches us to start with why. And if we have a great why, then we'll always figure out the how. So what is our why for games? Games are one of the most engaging and sticky experiences on the planet. When done well, they can have amazing social impact and enduring shelf life. They capture our imaginations and bring out the competitive spirit in all of us. When exploring any new space, we like to see that there is traction and growth and that others have gone before us with a degree of success. We have been inspired by a number of incredible projects while researching the space. We look to build on their successes and learn from their challenges as we move forward. The gaming potential in Web3 is undeniable. The question is, who are the players that are going to carve out their niche and set the standard for the future? But frankly, games are hard. We didn't just pick games because they're wildly popular and a great way to build massive engaged communities. We didn't just pick games, we knew we would do games all along. Why is this? Because that's what we've been doing for over 3 decades. Let me explain. Games are in our blood, and I firmly believe that if you do something you're passionate about, you do it better than anyone else. So we are bringing 3 decades of professional game development, design, and management to Apollo Crypto starting today. I'm just going to mention a few proof points about my team's experience with gaming. We have built everything from small indie games to highly complex real-time multiplayer platforms. We have built games across multiple genres, including action, arcade, puzzles, shooters, and more. We have built games for massive brands for the purposes of entertainment, monetization, training, and activations. But I get really excited about this stuff, so I'd like to show you some of the wide variety of games we have built over the last 30 years. That would be over 50 games in total, actually. Some are sponsor games and some are original games, which remain our own intellectual property to this day. Some of the companies that we have built sponsored games for include 3D brawlers for The Rock and WWE, 2D endless runner games for Nike featuring Chris Paul, and branded entertainment games for YouTube behemoths like Annoying Orange, FGTV, and the AB family. So let's take a quick look at some of these games in action. Through a diverse set of mechanics, styles, different genres, and just a breadth of experience, we can create lots of different types of games to fill the Web3 space. We're excited to even leverage some of these that we've built to accelerate our efforts in the space. And many are original games that we still own the rights for that are just sitting on the shelf. These can be used or built upon to bring great games to Apollo Crypto in less time and less cost and less execution risk than other projects in the market today. But I really shouldn't show too much on these right now, as some are in continuous development and we want to hold some secrets for the future. So now let's jump into the plan that moves the project forward. And just like we did in 2022, we will be using base camps to continue our journey to the top in 2023. I can sum up our 2023 plan with these 3 base camps: game, arcade, and SDK. These build on each other just like the 3 from 2022 did, but I'm only going to go into specifics about the first one today. You'll have to keep tuning in to hear about the other 2, which is where things get really interesting. Here's a sneak peek at one of our gaming ecosystem flow documents. I've of course removed some of the detail and secret sauce. It has many tried and true game tactics ranging from engagement to retention, focusing on rewarding players who hold their Apollo and engage more in the system over time. While this is preliminary design and it's designed to deliver fun and viral sharing, we have some very specific goals that will benefit the token and its loyal community, such as appealing to crypto natives, but it's also easy to onboard into it using fiat and a credit card. We have some exciting developments on the onboarding front that we'll be revealing soon. Setting Apollo as a default currency for all gameplay, power-ups, and prizes within the ecosystem. Incentivizing players to stay in the ecosystem longer and rewarding those that stay the longest and perform the best. And finally, providing sponsorship opportunities for influencers and brands interested in leveraging the game's engagement to expand their own followings. Brands have been our sweet spot for a long time, and we're sure they have a place in this. What I didn't cover was the games themselves and how the gameplay, wagering, payouts, and other factors are handled. That's information is coming in our next keynote. We'll announce the date of that keynote in 3 weeks, so stay tuned for that. All right, let's wrap this up. Today, we covered what we stand for, where we have been, what we have learned, and where we are going. But there's so much more to discuss. So we are guest appearing on Hinok's show, as I mentioned, as well as your Pop and Gagan's channels over the next few weeks to answer your questions. We'll also be hosting our own smaller announcement presentations weekly. We'll be covering our new advisory board, a deeper discussion in the awesome improvements we have made in liquidity locking, some new partnerships, some new additions to the team, and a massive groundswell donation program that has already been started by the community. Don't forget about our new onboarding system for crypto newbies. And I wouldn't forget our Golden POAP giveaway awards for those that did an amazing job in seasons 1 and season 2 and voting in every single contest. Something special is coming their way. We will also like to share our thoughts about the creator voting platform and how it might fit into the 2023 theme as well. Be sure to also tune into our next keynote we'll announce, as I said, in 3 weeks, where we'll dive deeper into the games and gameplay already in development currently. And of course, please don't forget to join any of our social channels, including Telegram, Discord, Web, and Twitter. If there is one thing you could take from all this, it's the expansion from contest to competition where everyone can now participate. The continued movement through our base camps from games to arcade to SDK, building the world's best crypto-based competition platform and continuing to deliver actual products into the actual market and tackling this crypto winter until we hit the summit. That's where we are going, and we hope you'll join us. From all of us here at Apollo and the Apollo community, we thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to joining us and being part of the best year